It is September 24th, 2017. Welcome to PodChamp. So, the first question you're probably asking yourself, what is this podcast all about? Well, we're a diverse group of people. We're gamers, Twitch streamers, Twitch viewers, people in general. Our objective is to bring you some relevant news and what we hope will be some interesting discussions and opinions on gaming, streaming, and technology in general. And I would also encourage the PodChamp team who are here with me today to please jump in if you'd like to add anything about what you believe this podcast will be and where you see it going for a couple of minutes.
My hope here is that we'll kind of get a lot of good insight into the many different perspectives of streaming. People come to stream for a lot of reasons, and they approach their stream from a lot of angles. And streamers have very distinct impressions of it compared to even viewers. Even that relationship, that dichotomy is very interesting. So I hope that we'll be able to analyze that in a way that is enriching and gives people a lot of insight into what Twitch is and what it's all about.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. So let's move on. Our topics for discussion today are Twitch extensions. What are they and where will they take us? The do's and don'ts of a first-time streamer, and time permitting, we're going to actually look at something rather interesting, which is Twitch votes. So let's get started. We're going to do some quick introductions, along with what games we've been playing this week. We'll start with Anchor. So introducing our nautical Arizonan queen and lifelong Chuck Palahniuk fan, it's streamer AnAnchorPoint, or as we like to call her, Anchor.
Wow, that was quite the introduction. I'm not sure I can actually live up to that, but yeah, I am an AnchorPoint. You can call me Anchor. I'm a variety streamer on Twitch with a penchant for Sims 4 and crafts. Basically, this week I have been playing Deathmatch in Overwatch. It is really fun, you guys. It is a blast. Basically, instead of being on a team, although there is team deathmatch as well, but regular deathmatch, it's you going against several other Overwatch players and basically just trying to kill as many other heroes in the time permitted or until you get to whatever the set number of kills is. And it's super fun. Basically, just very different than, pushing a payload or capturing a point. Very different and very welcomed, I think, to the Overwatch community that has also been familiar with other first-person shooters. So I've really been enjoying that this week.
Very cool. And that is a PvP mode then, because I know around Halloween last year they did some kind of PvE mode, right?
Yeah, they did. I don't remember the mode was, but yeah, it was PvE. But now it's like the first basically deathmatch mode they have in Overwatch, and it's so fun. If you get like a group of friends together and just kill each other, it's a blast. And it's actually like, I think that was actually Alex talking about this earlier this week, but it's actually probably the best mode to practice in Overwatch. Like if you actually want to practice just your aim and stuff, you just pick a character you're not that good at and go for it.
Yeah, definitely. The ability to hop on McCree or, some other character who's very flick aim oriented and just go at it and not have to worry about running back or worry about healing. Just have at it. I've been rusty for a long time. I was kind of out of favor with Overwatch for a while, and now that I'm finally getting back into it, it's one of the 30 minutes in deathmatch. You're warm. You're ready to go. You're ready to rock. It's something else.
Very cool. All right, moving on. We have, hailing from the great state of Montana, the Pearl of Wonder, the sexiest woman I know. She's nothing like a giraffe, Starfish.
Thanks for that. I am not a Twitch streamer. I'm a self-declared champion Twitch lurker. And my favorite games are the World of Warcraft and the Civilization franchise. That's primarily what I spend my time playing. This week, though, I've been really busy. So my most played game this week has been Pokemon Go, which is not terrible timing because right now they have an autumn equinox event going on, which is making it a good time to play that.
Very cool. All right, so we have our expert in all things audio, our Hearthstone champ and king of Overwatch. It's Gigantus96.
Wow.
Is it Gigantus or Gigantus?
Yeah, Gigantus. You said it right.
I apologize.
That's all right, man. Hey, wow, that's some pretty big name like titles to live up to. Holy shit. Well, actually, just to like boost your point, the game basically the only game I've been playing this week is Hearthstone. So I've just tried to get Legend. Not going that well so far. I'm stuck around like rank 2 or 3, but
Yeah, I saw you were at 3
yeah yeah. But I'm trying to get there, and I tried finishing Dishonored 2 also earlier this week, because I already like bought the expansion that just came out about a week ago, I think, which I'm a bit sad about, because like the extension is actually called Death of the Outsider, and I don't know if like any of you here have played this series, but basically like all the powers you get in the game come from the outsider. So I don't really see if like how they're gonna continue the series if you actually kill like one character important like that. But I'm curious to see it, so I'm trying to finish the main game, Dishonored 2, and to go to the expansion after.
Very nice. All right, next up we have a guy famous for terrorizing children and small animals, a wolf. Just kidding, I'm Kappa Pride for this guy.
That's gonna make me laugh every time I hear that. So yeah, this week just like Anchor, and pretty much everyone, it sounds like, I've been playing a whole bunch of Overwatch. Well, relatively a bunch of Overwatch. A lot for me. I've been busy with work this week. So yeah, not too much new. Though I am looking forward to a game that just came out this week called Echo. I haven't installed, and I guess I'll let you guys know next time around how that is.
Did you say Echo?
Yeah, the game is called Echo. Literally just
not Echo the
ECHO.
Dolphin.
And not Echo the Dolphin. No, this is a new game. Nothing related to Echo the Dolphin, though that is also a great classic. So I'm glad you brought that up.
What's it about? I'm just curious. I never heard it.
Well, you can check it out on Steam. I had no idea that this was even being made. Like, I saw it, clicked on it, and I was like, wow, this looks neat. And then I've been checking out reviews and like videos on it, and apparently it's like amazing. And I don't want to give a lot away because it's like super like story heavy, but it's kind of like, it's hard to explain. It's kind of like Hellblade, the game that just came out a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, sure.
Similar to that, only think sci-fi instead, and procedurally generated.
Just a different kind of universe. Yeah. Nice. Yeah,
different universe.
I'll have to check it out. Yeah.
More of a shooting focus versus sword fighting.
All right, so next up we have the Texas Terror, the sexiest streamer on Twitch and retro gamer. It's the champ with all the swag, Alex.
Oh God, what have I done to deserve this? So I would love to say that Overwatch is my main squeeze right now, and it is. But since we've already talked about it, I feel like I owe it to Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle to give it the time of day. It's a mobile game on your phone, and it's orb matching, and you get to build teams of Dragon Ball Z characters. And normally it's not the kind of thing that I would advertise as a game that I'm actively playing, but it's interesting because it's actually a fairly underserved community on Twitch. There's not a lot of people who stream it, and a lot of people who do stream it do not speak English. So I'm one of the few English-speaking Dragon Ball Z Dokkan streamers, and so every time I play it, even though I really wasn't expecting much of anything, a surprising number of people show up, which is great because it gives me even more of an excuse to play it every opportunity that I get. So yeah, I don't normally consider myself a mobile gamer, in part because mobile games can be a real-time vampire, but I'm having a blast with it.
Very nice. All right, Ruukxx, the man with the largest Steam library I know, a Brit with a fetish for four-letter words.
I have been playing Divinity Original Sin 2 because it came out of early access. Basically, it's a CRPG, basically like Fallout 1 and Fallout 2 or Wasteland 2, where you go around pointing and clicking, and it's very open-ended, and there's basically dozens of ways to do every quest and everything.
Very interesting. I've actually, funnily enough, the only Fallout game I've ever played was the most recent one. What was that, 4? Is that Fallout 4?
Yep.
I can't stand that game.
And I played it for about...
Yeah, talk about it to Wolf. He's got lots to say about it.
All the others are great. The newest one, I can't touch it.
I agree. Fallout 4 is awful.
So I was going to say, I played it for about... I played through the the little intro bit, and then for maybe an hour after that, and I just haven't had the inclination to go back to it. I know a lot of people like it a lot, but
I actually liked it a lot. I'm a fan of the series too, and I actually liked the fourth game.
See, that's a problem I had. I got an hour in and I was like, I think I know the ending. Googled it. Yep, that's the ending.
Yeah. The ending is predictable, but like it's still enjoyable to play. You don't like fine. There's a story aspect to it that's important, but you don't only play Fallout for the story compared to like other heavy story-based games.
I think the modding scene for it is great. Like if you're playing it to like just play the game for the gameplay aspects, then heck yeah, awesome game. But like I love the story of 1, 2, and 3, and that's why I picked up 4. And then I was like, this is not on the same level.
No, the story is not. That's true though.
And lastly, I'm Quigabyte, one half of Team Dank Bites, 50% as funny as the average person, but twice as often. So I have been playing some retro games recently. Well, retro-inspired games, I should say. So Sonic Mania came out for the PC a few weeks ago. Blasted through that. Very good game. I would say not quite as good as Sonic 1, Sonic 2, or Sonic 3 and Knuckles, but it's certainly something I enjoyed. And I would say about halfway through my experience, I was almost ready to cry because this was the Sonic 4 I had wanted for 16, 20 years, however long it's been. So definitely worth checking out. Definitely a good experience. The other game I've been playing.
How long did it take you to beat? Out of curiosity.
How long did it take me to beat? I don't know. I would say probably 4 or 5 hours, maybe. But that's just with one character playthrough, right? And it's hard for me to guess because I didn't just sit down and play it all through. It was maybe 2 or 3 sessions.
Okay, cool. I have the game, but I've been waiting because I'm like, oh, this is gonna be like 12 hours. I'll just
I've been putting it off too. Yeah.
If I can do it in one day, I'm in.
Yeah, maybe I'm underestimating. I could go back and look because I really have only just started playing Knuckles now. So
it is about 4 to 5 hours.
Okay, perfect. I'm not crazy then. The other game I've been playing is Mickey Mouse Castle of Illusion Remastered. So if any of you guys remember this game from the Mega Drive or Genesis days, I've been playing that, and that was super short. I got to the end in, feels like maybe 2 hours, but it was fun. It's remastered. It was done well. And as of, I think, yesterday, I've been playing Just Cause 3. I was a huge fan of Just Cause 2. I did buy Just Cause 3 quite some time ago, but I didn't install it until yesterday. And I would say that graphically, much better. There's some mechanics which I feel are much better. It feels more natural to use the parachute and the way that interacts with some of the other mechanics in the game. The wingsuit is fantastic.
Yeah, lots less glitches on the hook too. Your hook,
yes,
compared to the other game.
So I'm enjoying it. There's something to me that doesn't feel maybe quite as fun as the second one, but honestly, I've only put a couple hours in at this point. The way I played the second one was I pretty much ignored everything I was supposed to do and just roamed around the map, blowing up everything.
Yeah. I was just gonna say it's the best game when you got free time and you don't know what to do and you don't want to be like too invested, like you don't have any objectives, you just load up the game and like blow shit up. That's
exactly
it's amazing. I think I got like more than 50 hours in this game just like walking around and blowing stuff up. It's so fun.
One of my favorite things that I've been doing is beating all your records and everything, Giga, because it allows me to see, for example, how far you've flown with a wingsuit. So it's been my mission to fly further.
Yeah, and they actually added a lot of objectives on the challenges. There's the wingsuit one. There's like the biggest dive you can get, fastest like jump from a cliff in a car. Like it's just like it. You're not taking the game too seriously, that's for sure. But like I think that's they knew that when they made the game, and like they just went for it and went like, well, just roam around the map and have fun.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to playing that a little more as well. All right, so now you know everybody, you know what they've been playing, and you know my crazy little introductions for them. I think we'll move on to our first topic. So let's talk about it. Our first topic today is Twitch extensions. What are they and where will they take us? Who wants to jump in first?
Well, from a streaming standpoint, I love this. I'm very excited about it. I think the potential for streamers, content creators, just anyone to create cool things that may eventually be used as an extension is like really exciting. The main extension I use is the Streamlabs extension, and the features for that are really cool.
So what is an extension exactly? If I know nothing about Twitch, or maybe a little about Twitch, maybe I'm a Twitch viewer and I'm hearing this word extensions, I've seen some tweets about it. What is an extension?
So I would categorize extensions as being an interface between the stream and the viewer. So we have a lot of different services that have made extensions for Twitch, and they're actually pretty varied. So we've got Streamlabs. We've got some extensions that are standalone and they're just kind of there to process data. Like there's one that can be used to get a click heat map. Your viewers can click on your stream and that information will be made visible. There's games and other sorts of extensions. There's one for wish lists. You can have your Amazon wish list or the list of all the gear that's in your PC below your stream, and you can have links to Amazon where you can go and buy it. So they're ultimately ways to take old functionality that was often done manually or through the use of chat bots, and it was done in kind of roundabout ways, and now integrating it directly into the Twitch player. So it's more seamlessly integrated into the stream experience.
Very nice. And Anka, you said that you've been using Streamlabs?
Yes, so the Streamlabs extension basically sits in the lower right-hand corner of a stream. If you're in someone's channel viewing their stream when it's live, that will be made visible. And you can interact in so many cool ways. There are games like scratchers, pick a card, random treasure chests will just show up on this stream for 10-15 seconds at a time. The streamer can actually set how long those treasure chests stay on the screen. And if you click them in time, you get an amount of bonus currency. The streamer can modify the currency to call it whatever they want. So my stream currency are called anchor points. You can also host polls and giveaways directly through that extension. So it basically allows you to track loyalty points and all these cool things without the chat spam. And that's really key for streamers who want that chat engagement but don't want to flood their chat with all sorts of bots, I guess. So I've really been enjoying that a whole lot.
Yeah, I agree. And I would say two things. Number one, I always forget to click the chest. It's just something I see it floating on the stream and I'm like, oh shoot, at the last minute, and I try and click it. But number two is that your statement about not having chat flooded with a million bots. And so really that's one of the things I see as a potential advantage here. The interaction, it's separating the interaction from the chat itself. So if, for example, you don't have a huge number of people chatting in your chat box, it can get filled up with messages from bots, right? Or the interactions with the bots, not necessarily just messages from the bots, but your interactions and its replies. So being able to have that separated from the chat, from my point of view, that seems to be a great advantage.
Yeah, and it still allows ways for those in your channel to have fun. Maybe you're at a lull in whatever game you're playing, or you stepped away to go grab something to drink. They can still be playing these games or entering a giveaway, or if you set up a poll, they can participate in that, and nothing else has to be happening in the chat or anything. They can just continue to engage on their own without any spam, which is cool.
I'm a huge fan of the giveaways. It's so easy to use that now instead of typing in chat, waiting for the streamer to collect all the names, waiting and hoping that you get drawn and not being able to see any visual of it. Now you're just oh, I'm going to enter the giveaway. You get to see the wheel spin and boom, there's a winner. It's so much cooler now.
Yeah, it's definitely more seamless. The features are very seamless, and I'm excited to see what they'll add in the future.
Absolutely. And Alex touched on heat maps, and I'm not sure if that is part of the extensions or if that's some kind of separate piece. I was just going to mention that I've seen that used Trump, the streamer Trump, not the president. He used, just to clarify, in case there's any confusion, he used that on a few streams that I was in when he was doing a draft for Hearthstone Arena. And he was using it so the stream would click on which card they wanted him to pick for the draft in Arena. So
wow,
that was kind of fun.
That's a really cool idea.
And he would always comment as he was picking each card, chat, this is the card I'm going to pick because this is the card you chose. And then he would say whether or not he thought that was the optimal pick. Funnily enough, you would expect everyone would just be trolling him. And they did to an extent, because for a while they were all clicking on his face.
I
But
was going to say that could be very iffy for some streamers, but
in general, they did pick the right one. So those are the really only two I'm familiar with, the Streamlabs and then that heat map. Are there any others other folks have seen out there?
I've seen one that's kind of like Periscope, with the hearts, the heart spam, I guess you could call it, where it's just like floating emotes. But instead of like the hearts you get on Periscope, you have all the like Kappa Pride and stuff that you have on Twitch.
So I haven't seen a lot of them live, but just looking at the list of them, it looks like there's a few that are very general that we've kind of talked about, the gear on Amazon, the Streamlabs stuff, bit leaderboard, and then the rest of them seem like they're very specific for like a specific game, like Hearthstone or RuneScape or whatever, like something specific for a game that would be helpful, like knowing gear or a leaderboard for a game.
Can you usually switch those out or have multiple extensions going at the same time, or is it like a hassle? That's what I wonder.
Actually, I haven't tried to have multiple, but I've yet to see a streamer who had multiple running simultaneously, so I'm not certain. I would imagine that it kind of diminishes kind of some of the purpose if you can only have one, but I think they might be very deliberately trying to avoid a situation where somebody just for funsies turns on all of them.
Yeah, I could see some weird conflicts happening, and then the stream having issues with it.
Yeah, it could be a little dicey. Honestly, from the perspective of me as a streamer, I like that the functionality now exists for us to extend our streams in a more technically backed way. Because doing cool stuff, but doing it through a chatbot was always kind of janky. It never felt quite right. And now that we have a tool to do it directly, it's awesome. But my feeling is that we haven't yet realized the full potential of what extensions can be. So we've got the big extensions that give you giveaways and they give you all that stuff, and those mostly encapsulate functionality that we already had in another form. And then we have most of the other ones are really just ways to fetch information about games. So I can find out this guy's Dota 2 information, or I can find out this guy's Binding of Isaac information, or I can find out his Destiny information, so it's kind of stuff that is very specifically useful, but fundamentally not something that couldn't be replaced. What I want to see is ultimately somebody's going to make something really cool and really interactive that I believe is going to change the game completely. And I think the extension that Trump used, that's Smart Click Maps, by the way. Smart Click Maps by a developer named Ex Machina. Add-ons like that add that new layer of interactivity to the stream are going to be, I think, what is going to define the role that extensions play on the site in the future. We already kind of see that layer of interaction between the games now have Twitch integration, and so you can interact with people directly in their game. I think extensions are eventually, when somebody really gets a good grasp on it, they're going to take that to the next level.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to end up where a couple months down the road it's going to be an extension is going to replace a bot entirely. But I've also heard that they're going to be adding extensions that are paid for. So I would hope that there's more features at that point too.
So this is kind of interesting because we've been talking about it from purely a Twitch perspective, but other streaming platforms out there, such as Microsoft's Mixer platform, has had some of this kind of interactivity for quite a while. I don't know if anyone ever uses Mixer at all. About a year ago, I think I visited it, and at that point it had a different name. I can't actually remember what that name is. Beam,
right?
Thank you. That's it, Beam, yes. And what was interesting to me, apart from the super low latency that Beam had, was under many of the streams, there were additional controls to do different things. For example, in one of them, there was a game and it would allow the viewers of the stream to direct things that were happening in the game, to move a character around, to change something in the game through buttons underneath the stream. So I don't know if anyone else is familiar with Mixer or Beam or has ever seen that. And I wonder if those kind of things from competing platforms, and there being more competing platforms now, is driving Twitch to innovate more.
I think it's partially that, and it's partially because Twitch is a business owned by a corporation. They need to see like different ways to monetize, and I see ultimately extensions becoming a way to monetize more and more.
Yeah, to be fair though, Mixer is still owned by Microsoft, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, and well, which might be actually why they're more game oriented than the extensions on Twitch, because the extensions on Twitch are going to be like to make the community react to the streamer, to make the chat involved in the stream. As if you're going to have something that is produced by Microsoft, maybe it's going to be more game focused. Maybe that's why these functionalities on Mixer have been more game oriented than the ones on Twitch.
True.
With the new API though, where they have like webhooks and things like that, and I'm kind of talking out of my depth because I'm not a tech person. When Twitch came out with all of this new stuff, I had to look up the definitions for all of that. But I think really ultimately game devs are going to start utilizing that more and more to get into the games.
Absolutely. I think there's a lot of opportunity there. Once somebody really breaks that mold, like imagine as a hypothetical, a game like Battlegrounds, PUBG, a game like that where you have that kind of Hunger Games functionality, where if you recall from the Hunger Games movies, a fine film franchise, they had the notion of sponsors, and so a sponsor could just like drop, like a peanut butter jelly or sandwich or whatever on you from space. So imagine if somebody through the power of a Twitch extension could spend 50 bits and send a grenade to you in the game that just drops down from the sky and you can pick up. Like that kind of interactivity is, I mean, that's some pay to win nonsense, but
Yeah,
it's still
it is. But
that's some next
really
level interaction. Imagine that not being a very far off future from where we are right now, where that level of interactivity is possible.
And it's very interesting seeing as they do have bits is basically a virtual currency. Obviously, right now it's only being used for cheering, but I guess I had never thought about the other things bits could be used for.
Yeah, I was gonna say that just boosts Starfish's point too. That's a great way to monetize it, actually.
They've said in the past, when they brought out the extensions, that right now they're free.
Yeah, they're going to be
Right now.
adding purchasable, like paid for extensions.
I mean, it's all about interactivity, really, isn't it? To boil it down to the simplest point.
I, for one, welcome our new robot overlords.
All right, so that's and on that bombshell, I think that's all we have for that topic. Unless anyone else wants to say anything more about it, we can move on to the next one. Last chance. All right, so our next topic is the do's and don'ts for a first-time streamer. So this is a big topic, and I think Alex, you have a little to say on this.
I sure do. The Twitch community is constantly expanding, and each day new streamers go live for the first time, sharing their skills and perspectives with the world. As any longtime streamer will tell you, however, there's a lot more to streaming than simply pressing the broadcast button. The success or failure of a channel can be as much about what you do offline to prepare as it is about what you do when you're live, but it's difficult for fresh streamers to know where to start or how their choices can impact the direction of their stream. Today, we'll talk about some of our most valuable tips for a streamer who's just starting out. So for the streamers amongst us, what is the advice you wish someone else would have given you when you were just starting out? And if you're solely a Twitch viewer, what things about small streams kind of turn you on or off the most? What's the kind of thing that gets you in at the ground floor of a stream starting out for the first time?
I can tell you one thing right off the bat that I feel like will apply to everyone. If I go to a stream that's a small stream and they have like, say even 3 people in channel, but the person streaming never says a word, I will leave. I will always leave that stream versus a person who has maybe no one in chat, but they're still talking to the camera. Like that's more interesting.
I was just about to say the same thing. It really is challenging to sit in a room where you're presumably by yourself streaming a video game and then talking to a chat room per se that is also empty because presuming if you're new, you probably don't have very many viewers at first. So that in and of itself is a very big hurdle to get over. But once you do that, and if you can just open up like a dialogue with yourself, really, I think it makes it much more interesting for folks to come in and hang out because you already are opening up the boundaries for a fun dialogue. So I think people are more likely to hang out if you're at least chatting to the camera.
Yeah, my most sincere belief here is that probably the hardest time in your streaming career, and I'm no pro streamer, but I've had some limited success, and I would say that the absolute hardest part of it for me was the very beginning. The first 10 viewers. Your first 10 viewers are the longest, most painful grind. Like you want so badly if your goal is growth, some people just stream and they couldn't care less where it really goes. But if the goal is growth and you want people to come by and you want to grow something out of nothing, those first few days when nobody's there or one person is there and even that guy's just lurking and you like you said, you talk to thin air because you feel like you have to, like you want to give people something to play off of. If you're just staring into the darkness, then you can't really expect anybody to want to talk to you because you haven't given them anything to talk about. So that is a challenge, and I think that's a honed skill. But by far, that was the hardest part for me.
I mean, I'm not a streamer. I've only ever guested on Quig's stream, but that's absolutely true. If you go into a stream, even if it's awkward, even if all you're doing is kind of narrating and this is why I'm doing this and oh, we're gonna jump to the next level, that's better than silence.
The flip side of that is even if you get no viewers, you can still take that VOD and like upload it to YouTube, and people will watch your quote unquote let's play, which is essentially the exact same thing because let's plays from YouTube don't have viewers.
Yeah, I definitely think that just have fun, be open, and don't forget to engage, even if you know no one's there. And that kind of also brings up the point, and this was just a rule I set for myself very early on. Don't stress over your viewer count or your follower count. I don't ever have those stats pulled up while I'm live. I take a glance at them afterwards maybe, but I definitely don't look over and say, oh my gosh, there's only 5 people in my stream right now, like I'm doing horribly or something. Like that just really psychs you out. And so as long as you can just kind of ignore that and have fun, success will follow. People want to hang out if you are really engaged in what you're doing and you're having a great time.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, because the most important for me is just like, don't take yourself too seriously. And I'm just talking as a viewer. If a streamer just like does put on like a super serious, like if for example like some streamers in Hearthstone like are very serious, they describe their plays and everything like that and take themselves very seriously, I will get disinterested very quickly, very quickly. I just want to have fun, man. I don't want to take myself too seriously. It's something like, it's if you have objectives and goals and everything like that, it's something, but don't take yourself too seriously. I think Moon actually was like talking about it on another podcast the other day. Like he was saying even when he had like 3 viewers, he didn't want to take himself seriously because he knew that this was something people wouldn't get into and wouldn't like want to come back to his stream for it.
So coming at that not taking it too seriously angle from another direction, this is something that I've been thinking about a lot lately as I think about like what it is that makes or that enables streamers to be successful early on. And I think because there's a sort of an arms race is what I would say, in the sense that people feel like in order to be a stream, they kind of look at what big streamers do and they're like, okay, well, this big streamer, he's got a Twitter and he's got a Snapchat that I can follow and he's got a Discord and he's got all this other stuff. Like a large stream will have a lot of ancillary parts to it, like, a lot of limbs. And so you'll see a streamer who has like 20 followers and 3 viewers, and they'll have a Discord and they'll have all this other stuff, and they'll be moving too quickly to build a big community. And when I look at that, I see, and tell me if anybody else shares the sentiment. To me, it feels like trying too hard. Instead of worrying about building like a giant empire right away, which you're not going to, really building any Twitch stream at all, unless you're just amazing at games or you're super hot, that's going to take forever. It's an investment of time and effort, and people tend to be very quick to try to jump to point B. So they set up all these things, and so I guess if there was going to be one point that I would give, it'd be take it slow, take it nice and slow, one step at a time. Just go nice and easy. When your stream is big and it's ready for Discord, it'll get there and you can make a Discord. And when you're ready for, meetups or all this other stuff, you can get there too. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, I think that's really true. You have to remember that the bigger the streamer is, the more help they've already got. They've got a community manager maybe if they're really big, or a lot of mods that you may not have that support system as a really, really tiny new stream.
Yeah, and again, I think that it all just comes in time. I mean, speaking from personal experience, I started streaming to no one obviously. I think the first game I ever streamed was Diablo 3. Wolf was in the other room also playing with me, and the two of us playing Diablo 3 at the same time and me trying to stream it was a disaster. It was laggy. I was like worried about like tech issues and all this other stuff to even try to have some sort of semblance of a dialogue with chat or a dialogue with Wolf to be able to like enjoy the game and just play it, that I was so worried about all of these other things that I think that first stream was like a total disaster. I'm glad that VOD is not out there. It definitely took like a good, I think like 6 months before someone else in one of the many communities I like to hang out in was like, oh, you stream? And once that happened, I started to get, 5 viewers, 10 viewers, and then before I knew it, I had a small community going. But that took time. It took 6 months of me streaming to no one virtually. And then after that is when you can start thinking about Discord and building your community and sharing your social media links and all of those things. But I think just getting used to streaming is a huge first step.
I think you touched on something really interesting there, which is the value of being involved in Twitch. Like Twitch isn't like a storefront. You don't just show up and you open your shop and then you're ready for business. You part of what helps people be successful on Twitch is that they're active participants in the community. So they make friends and they hang out on streams and they become mods in those streams. And that's how you make the connections where you meet the people who are going to want to show up to your stream. Because you're not fishing in prospective viewers. You're making friends, and those friends like you, so they want to come watch your stream. So if you approach it from that direction, where it's like I'm not out here like I'm not handing out business cards. I'm making relationships because I like Twitch and I like being here. Then that's how you open doors to have a good stream and set a strong foundation for what could eventually become a big community.
And that's true, but like caution lights, this is not where you go into another stream and say, hey guys, I'm a streamer, come watch my stream.
Yeah.
I was literally just about
don't
to
do
say
that.
that. That is the big caveat at the end of that sentence. Don't be afraid to go out there and network and foster relationships, but also don't go in and advertise your stream in another person's stream. That's a quick way to get banned and to build a poor reputation for yourself. So
following it on to that thought, what is the appropriate way to share your stream with other people to promote it?
There might be an appropriate Discord channel in somebody's Discord to say, hey, I'm streaming now. I mean, a lot of Discords have that promote yourself sort of channel, and that's a really good way. Twitter's a really good way.
So even without the Discord channel, this is apparently I keep. So I'm a proud Moonian. I am a member of Moon's Discord channel.
Hell
And-
yeah.
Yeah, buddy. And apparently people keep coming to my stream because they look at Moon's list of streamers and they see me there. So I'm not even because Discord shows if you're streaming, I'm not even actively putting myself out there. I just go live. And because, I'm involved in a lot of different Discord communities, people see that I'm live and they stop in and they see what it's all about. And a lot of those people who've told me that they came from just seeing me in Moon's Discord user list, they've stuck around and they've been subs of mine. So by being involved, like you don't even have to really be putting yourself out there. If people will stumble on you kind of by chance if you put yourself out there, and then that can open a lot of doors for you.
That's really cool. I've seen it say that before, but I've never thought about that being like a big promotion tool. But I can see where it would be.
It caught me off guard too. I will not lie.
I'll actually keep my eye on that, and if I see someone streaming in one of the Discord channels I'm active in, I'll usually go check them out. So I totally understand how that happens.
So one other thing I wanted to add here as well that I was just thinking about, not quite related to what we were saying, but what about safety? So from a new streamer just getting into it, they want to share their life, they want to share their experiences, they want to share their gaming, maybe make some friends. Are there any tips for those folks as to how they should do that safely?
To be blunt, don't be an idiot. I mean, don't share information that you wouldn't share to anyone else on the street. It sounds horrible to say that, but
Yeah, I feel like there's some standard using the internet rules that everyone should know.
See, I think it's an interesting situation for a streamer, however, just because when you're a streamer, especially when you're a streamer first starting out, you want to retain people if you can. You want those people to stick around so you can grow your stream. And one way that people retain and grow their stream is by giving people that real personal interactive experience. And I think people are very acutely aware of the fact that the more you open your life to other people, the more they will kind of dig in, if you get my meaning. So some people are tempted, I think especially small streamers, to kind of make themselves really available in hopes that that'll kind of build that base for their community. So it's kind of it's not a good idea, but people feel like it's worth the risk to build that initial community. And so my advice to you would be, it's not worth the risk. Don't do it. Like, if you can't float on your content, like if you have to pimp your life to get people to come watch your stream, like reconsider what your stream's about. Like, are you doing the right things? Are you making content people want to see, or are you putting yourself out there in a way that's just going to compromise potentially your well-being?
It can be counterproductive as well, because if you give everything you've got to give to someone, then you're not going to keep them around because you've given them all of your personality. There's not anything else to give them.
I can see that too, yeah.
How about some basic precautions, things you can do with the tools that are available in Twitch? For example, I've heard of relatives popping into your stream and maybe sharing some information you wouldn't want the world to know.
There are ways to block certain words in Twitch. I think this was mainly used for curse words or language maybe that you don't want to see in your chat. But a big tip, something I learned actually at TwitchCon last year, put your name in there, like your full name, or maybe you don't want your birthday being shared or something like that. Put your birthday in there. Then when that is typed into chat by, let's say, a family member or a close friend who you know in real life, it will actually be purged in the chat. So that can be very helpful if you're worried about something like that. And then if you talk to your family, say, hey, if you guys are going to come hang out in my stream, like, just don't divulge any like personal information about me, because I think sometimes people forget Twitch is still internet and there are malicious people out there. So just be cautious.
See, this is why I don't tell my family I stream. I just tell them I do drug trafficking.
And you may want to consider something like making, if you have a lot of personally identifying information or relatives or whatever on Facebook, something like that, you may want to consider making that private and making yourself a really separate account for gaming stuff or whatever that streaming stuff might be.
Yeah, I think this kind of goes back to the original point. Like, you don't want to have like every service ever and you just started. But if you want to make a new Twitter handle that is just for you as a Twitch streamer, then like by all means do that. And that way you keep your personal life and your like streaming personality separate.
I totally agree with that.
And another thing that might be a good idea is, especially if you're just starting your Twitch account, avoid a Twitch name that you use in other places on the internet. Because, like, if let's say you've been using hypothetically the same internet name for like the past 10 years, and maybe under that internet name you posted a bunch of information about yourself on some forum about an obscure video game from half a decade ago. And if people can just Google your Twitch name and kind of track you down, there's a lot of social engineering going on that has compromised people's information. Tangentially, it reminds me of I don't know if any of y'all remember this, but people were getting swatted because of their Amazon wish lists. So people had discovered a technique to contact Amazon based on the information from the wish list and reverse engineer their way into being able to recover the address information about a person from the wish list by talking to Amazon support. So that actually became a terrible, like, a vector for attack that people could use to get anybody's location information. Apparently that's not a problem anymore, but at one point it was a real big deal.
Yeah, I think it involved like placing an order for one of their gifts and then like calling them up and being like, oops, I didn't mean to do that. And they've moved, so yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, basically. So there's a real tricky way to take advantage of it that that left some people a little vulnerable.
All right, so just to summarize what we've talked about, our PodChamp's top tips: talk to chat, even if no one is there. Interact with your chat. Don't take yourself too seriously. Take it slow, one step at a time. Don't worry about building a big empire immediately. Setting up a Discord, doing meetups, etc. Twitch is an investment in time and effort, and you can slowly grow your community to something valuable. Don't go into streams just to promote yourself. You can share yourself through various avenues, such as Discords that allow you to do that kind of thing, and through word of mouth. And lastly, on the safety side of things, use common sense. Don't share personal information. Don't share your Facebook, and use the tools that are available in Twitch already to help combat some of those things. You can put in keywords that can be censored, but also just talk to your family and friends if there is a chance they'll come into your stream, just to inform them, please don't share personal information about me. Anything else you would say for a first-time streamer?
I say stream what you want to stream. Don't worry about any big titles that are popular right now that you think will get you views or anything like that. Just stream what you want to stream and have fun with that, and the viewers and followers will come later.
Yeah,
Avoid the
just,
big games.
Yeah, I was gonna say avoid the big games, and if you're playing something just because you think it's gonna get you viewers and you're not enjoying it, that's people are gonna catch on to that.
Just be yourself, have confidence, respect other people that stream in, and don't try and be like others.
All right, so that was a good discussion. Our last topic for today, and we just have about 10 minutes to discuss this, is Twitch votes. Now, I'm not really familiar with the details of this. Who wants to jump in?
Oh boy, here we go. So this is amazing. On September 26th, Twitch is going to be running an event whereby people can directly from chat, I guess, access a service that allows them to register to vote. So this is an outreach program with the goal of helping Twitch chat be more actively involved in the democratic process. I assume this is only for America? ? The details have truthfully been scarce. I found out about this at first through a tweet from a Twitch product manager, I believe, and there was a survey that broadcasters could fill out to register to participate. So basically how it's going to work is that there'll be a category, especially for this Twitch Votes program, that you can go in, and then anytime that somebody registers to vote through your channel, there's going to be a little alert that appears, just like if somebody had subscribed or done a charity bit donation. And so it's going to be an interactive way to try to get your community motivated to get registered to vote. And I'm really excited about it. I try to make a habit of voting in every election that I can. But I know there are a lot of people who sit them out because they feel like their vote doesn't matter, or, they just don't feel like they know enough about the process. And I think the best way to get people involved and get them voting is to give them an opportunity to get in firsthand. So the 26th is going to be a big day.
So just my quick question about that, I'm not sure if you know the answer to this, but do you know if it will link them to, so it's going to link them to like an external site where they'll have to enter their information and actually register? Because I know there is an age limit for voting, and there are a lot of like 14, 15, and 16-year-olds running around on Twitch. So I just wonder if they have anything in place to, like, I don't know, combat people trying to put fake information out there or something.
So I'm looking at the email for it right now, as a matter of fact. It's through, I guess, a service called Turbo Vote. And I'm looking at the instructions that I was sent after I signed up. So on 9/26, if you're streaming, you can join the Twitch Votes community, and then you're encouraged to share a link, which is twitch.turbovote.org. And then at the end, you can append the name of your channel. So mine would be AlexTheGinger, or, whatever else. And then you can have either your bot spam that, or you can put a panel in your description for it. And when people click on that, through that, they will get to vote. And then I'm not sure. And then I guess once they're successful, that's when an alert should, I believe, fire off in the chat, letting you know that person registered to vote. So theoretically, my assumption is that the Turbo Vote service will do a good job of making sure that a 14-year-old is not like, my name's Dick Popeface, let me register to vote. But I don't right now. I don't have enough information for certain to really be able to say.
I mean, I would assume the same is true, but I'm just thinking about Twitch chat. You know how Twitch chat can be.
Definitely. I think I'm less interested in this from the perspective of, what are the implications of this specific situation. I'm more interested in what this portends as far as other Twitch outreach. Like, what other events might it kind of harkens back to when Twitch streamed the DNC and RNC national conventions. So Twitch chat, for better or worse, got to watch politics live. Those chats were not great. I'm not sure if you guys were there, but
those move so fast I can't even tell. But yeah, they're wonderful to watch.
The stuff that I did, people had some very strong opinions, if you can believe that.
Strong opinions on the internet? What?
strong opinions in Twitch chat.
Never.
So yeah, I'm really excited for what this could signal for the future of Twitch involvement. Like there could be, like imagine that there's a maybe direct integration with like an AGDQ event where when people donate, they get like a little shout out in the Twitch chat, like, whoa, this person just donated to Doctors Without Borders, good for them, like that kind of thing. So, whether that's a good idea or not is anybody's guess, but I think the potential for it is very interesting.
And I did just take a look at the Texas voter registration website, which is obviously going to be separate from this service, but I assume the information feeds in. And you do require to match your name and your social security and your Texas drive. There's these different things that are required to match before it'll work. So it should stop the, for example, Bodie McBoatface type registrations from happening.
All right. So moving on a little bit from that, I think, maybe we'll do one closing comment from each person here. Anything you'd like to say in closing to end off the stream, the cast on this PodChamp cast, this very first inaugural PodChamp cast. And we're going to go in the order I determine. So we're going to start with Anchor.
I just want to let everyone know listening that we are really excited to bring this podcast to you, to shed some light on topics on Twitch and other things in the gaming realm that you may or may not be familiar with, and really open up a dialogue with that. So hopefully you will tune into all of our podcasts after this as well, and we really look forward to bringing you some premium content.
That's right, premium with a capital P. Starfish, any last statement from you?
Just appreciate everybody listening.
All right, Wolf.
By premium content, she means ad-libbing D&D. So keep coming back for that.
Mm-hmm. Giga.
Later, nerds.
Alex.
I want to give a quick shout out to a neat piece of software that you can find on Steam right now called Stream Avatars. I'm not going to tell you anything about it. Just go look at it.
Now I'm intrigued. All right. Ruukxx.
I may be asexual, but give me the D because I'm feeling lucky.
All right. I don't have a final closing statement, so I guess that is my final closing statement. So thank you, everybody, for listening to our inaugural podcast. We hope you tune in again in the future. This has been fun for us, and we hope it will be fun for you to listen to as well. Thank you, and good night.